Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video. After many attempts, I have finally completed the all types extreme team mission versus Broly. As I said in the video a couple days ago, my red zone attempts, whether it is showcasing a unit in any red zone stage, whether that was Broly, even a Mega Shenron, which I hardly ever have trouble with, or the new Metacooler Core stage, my runs have been pretty cheeks, including the mission runs I've been doing. So yeah, the last week has not been too kind for me when it's come to red zone at all. But finally, after many attempts, it's paid off and I've finally completed this mission, even though I still have a couple more missions to complete. So we're not out of the woods just yet. The best way, as someone who's been having problems with this and trouble with it, the best way to do this, and I'm sure there's many other viable options to do it, about a 200% lead and, you know, using a different extreme team, etc. I'm sure there is. But the best and easiest way possible, I'm not saying it makes it easy, but it definitely makes it easier and a bit more bearable, is if you have LR Final Form Cooler. Once again, it's him. He's the guy, man. He's the guy, I'm telling you. Use LR Final Form Cooler and his 200% lead. He will make this mission so much easier. So in terms of the way the team lined up, to cover all the typings we need, of course, strength is covered by LR Final Form Cooler, obviously, dual leads. The AGL unit is covered by Golden Freezer, of course, all of that damage reduction throughout on such a red zone stage that hits so hard. He's key. The tech unit, we took Tech Janemba. You could probably take Tech Golden Freezer if you want to and have extra, like that, just full-on damage reduction from both easy Golden Freezers. But I would definitely say if you have Tech Janemba, even if you don't have dupes in him like me, mine's 55%, you could level 10 link him if you want, it would help a little bit. Even if you do have the choice of a Tech Golden Freezer who's rainbowed over a Tech Janemba, I would still say take Tech Janemba, because not only will he have guard, not only will he have extra damage reduction with how many orbs he picks up, but also with the amount of orbs he picks up, he can also get support, which is key to doing this run and making LR Final Form Cooler basically run his way through this entire event. That is the key. For the other strength unit, or just for an extra unit, of course I took EZA Transforming Cooler. I think if you have him, which the majority of us do because he's been out for so long, he provides such versatility to the team, whether he's going to be on main rotation, floating, or just kind of in and out of rotations. It doesn't matter. He's supplying the attack and defense plus 50%, which is helpful in general to everyone. Just a little bit of extra defensive coverage. It will do stuff for a lot of the units. You know, not so much for Golden Freezer, but it's nice to have. And some extra damage you're never going to complain about, especially at getting your way through this event quicker. The main unit helps once again. The support is all directed at the LR Final Form Cooler. Literally giving him extra defense, you know, whether you get all of your 12 key additionals off to constantly greatly raise your defense, whether you miss some, that extra defense is going to help you tank a lot better with him as well. Not only that, he's going to supply him with more damage, which once the LR Final Form Cooler is fully built up in his passive, been stacking for a while and good to go, having him do extra damage is exactly why he's there, for that versatility using the support. Crits do insane damage, he's there for that. And the main important one is he's going to be in stacking the entire event as well. So by the time you get to Broly, and my Transforming Cooler was in and out of rotations depending on how many attacks were coming for where, what phase we were on, who else was on the rotation, were they good defensive units, did they have damage reduction, guard, etc. All those type of things. Because of those factors, the Transforming Cooler was on and off main rotation, sometimes floating, sometimes on, sometimes off. And he plays the role well. Like here, I would have kept him on main rotation, even though Garlic Jr. has type advantage here. He can still take a decent amount of damage, and that's a lot of attacks to take in slot 3. So who's the better unit to put in slot 3? Transforming Cooler. So this is one of those scenarios where I use the versatility of the support, and also, you know, the fact he stacks defense and he's a much better defensive unit over Garlic Jr. I put him in slot 3 to soak up all those attacks. Now, I think luckily for me, I don't actually get supered here, but he still would have been the better option to tank there. So that's another reason why you want to bring him, the support, especially for LR Final Form Cooler, helping him run through the event quicker. But as I said, more importantly, because he stacks defense, and by the time you get to the final phase, EZA Transforming Cooler should... Oh no, we actually do get supered. I think he tanks it okay-ish, because this phase can actually do quite a bit of damage and catch you off guard quite early on. But okay, 300k is quite a lot, but if Garlic Jr. was there, even with type of edge, it would have been a lot worse. But yeah, the important factor is he stacks defense. So by the time you're on the final phase, he'll be on the region of 500-600k, depending on if you, lowered Broly's defense in the first phase, managed to get the additional to pop. as a super. You know, if you've got dupes in him, if you're also getting lucky with RNG and getting those additional supers as well, and just basically super attacking, you know, the pinnacle amount of times he can. Of course, you can have your defense in the range of 5 to 600k, which means even with type disadvantage, he is tanking Broly for double digits on basics, which is exactly what you want, of course, avoiding as much damage as possible on that final phase. He will still get absolutely blasted when it comes to supers, but the important thing is he will tank basics incredibly well. So there's that. In terms of the int unit, I took Garlic Jr. You can take Broly and he can do well. Of course, he does have some damage reduction. He'll be stacking the entire time. He'll stack up even quicker because of the additional supers. However, Broly will still be open to a bit of damage here and there the deeper you get in. So, you know, you're going to have to rely on those additionals actually becoming super attacks and him super attacking, you know, 3-4 times every single turn, which of course, unless you're, you know, super lucky, on average won't be happening all too much. So I've gone with Garlic Jr. One of my friends actually told me to take him. Originally I was thinking about taking him, but I didn't take him because I don't have any dupes in him. Yes, him having dupes will make it a little bit easier just because he has a little bit extra stats. He has a little bit extra padding on him. It won't do too much. And, you know, there's also the possibility of additionals, you know, do a bit of extra damage. Crits, again, do a bit of extra damage. But also it helps him stack up a little bit more as well. But the main reason why you bring Garlic Jr. for the int unit, because even between the super and extreme teams, there's no int unit that screams like, you know, mainstay on the team. They're not like first name on the team sheet type situation. So neither super extreme types really have an int unit that you're like, okay, you have to be here. You can go Broly. I would say go Garlic Jr. because again, he provides support. And that's exactly what you want. Even though Broly will be defensively more solid throughout the event, also, you know, he's stacking the entire time. He has a little bit of damage reduction. It's not a lot, but it's something. It helps. You want to take Garlic Jr. for that big support because, again, while it's not impacting other units all too much, you know, it may help them a little bit defensively and you tank a little bit better. The main unit it's helping and supplying the support to is LR Final Form Cooler, which means every single rotation that comes about, when you have eventually by this phase, you want both LR Final Form Coolers on rotation, on each rotation. That means you'll constantly have support. Whether you have Easy A Transforming Cooler floating or not, every single rotation will have some form of support on it. Whether that's Tech Janemba, Garlic Jr., and if you're floating Easy A Transforming Cooler, him as well. There will always be some form of support on every single rotation, which means Cooler gets a little bit of extra defense, again, kind of covering if you don't get, you know, 1 or 2, you know, additional 12 keys to greatly raise his defense. You know, if you're not lucky enough, he has a little bit of extra defensive coverage, but more importantly, he's getting that extra attack buff, which means Cooler is constantly maximizing his damage, considering he's been stacking the entire time. And then finally, if you have if you have a Final Form Cooler friend that has at least 1 dupe in him, you should be good, because then there's the possibility of crits and doing insane amounts of damage by the time you get here when Final Form Cooler has been stacking the entire time. And look at that, man. My LR Final Form Cooler is 55%. I got lucky enough, this may not always happen, but I got lucky enough for all of his additional 12 keys to become super attacks, and he had Easy A Transforming Cooler's support next to him as well. So combined with that, yes, and a Whis, but we had type Savage, so the Whis had to be popped there because there was just so many attacks, and you can't always account for Final Form Cooler getting all of the additional 12 keys off, so you can greatly raise your defense about 3-4 times. A Whis, all the additional 12 keys and Cooler support, he tanks that super attack at 55% in the dupe system for 10 damage. 10. No dupes, all his additional 12 keys, and the Easy A Transforming Cooler support tanked it for 10 damage. This is exactly why this exact same run, I'm also going to use finally, because I never really got a good enough showing for it, I'm going to use for LR Final Form Cooler versus Red Zone Broly in another video, which I'll probably do very soon in the next coming days, and I'll probably have it sped up a bit quicker, just because it's the same thing. But that's why you want to bring all these units. Not only has Tech Janemba got great defensively, guard, you know, a bit of extra damage reduction with the support, you know, you have likes of Garlic Jr., Easy A Transforming Cooler now. You have the support, which means LR Final Form Cooler is maximizing his damage, and you're flying through this event even quicker. And then the friend one who has dupes in, which is exactly, you want to make sure they have dupes, means you're also critting the final phase where you have type Savage, which means Cooler is still maximizing his damage, and you're hurting Broly big time. And of course, the Fizz unit, if you have him LR Janemba, because of course he has guard, you may want to build up his attack and defense if you can in his passive by putting him in slot 2. That's if it's safe to do so with the unit you're going to put in slot 1, because you want to get your rotations sorted as quick as possible so you don't take too much damage along the way. But for the most part, it doesn't really matter if you get his passive fully bought up. Obviously, it does help you tank a lot more. So you may want to do it. And I said, if you can and have the ability to do so without taking too much damage, or you want to risk it, then definitely go for it. But he's, of course, the Fizz unit, because not only does he have guard, but he has the disable enemy super attack, which can work on the strength type, which can avoid you taking a lot of damage, but you can still be hit with an AoE. And also, more importantly, the final phase, where you're going to be taking like over 1 mil damage on a super, he can disable that, he can nullify that. So that's a big reason why he's here. And then you pull out the secret weapon. By the time you get Broly down to low enough health, and again, we've got the Garlic Jr. support. If we don't kill him here, we're dead because we have no more items. You transform Easy A transforming Cooler. Now he has the built-in additionals, and because Broly's a pure Saiyan, he has the guaranteed crits. And because he has the possibility to additional super so much, and also if you have dupes in him, an extra one, he's going to crit on every single one of those super attacks. And yes, he hasn't been stacking his attack the entire event, but he starts, especially with support, around about a 7 million attack stat. So that type advantage Broly has means absolutely nothing. There you go, 7 mil. And he's going to be hitting a crit on each 7 mil attack stat. You could do this a little bit earlier. I done it with only a bar left because of how much damage we did with LR Final Form Cooler. And that is basically your kill shot. That is your secret weapon at the end. Transform, Easy A transform Cooler, and just let him annihilate Broly, and he will finish the event for you. But that's how I beat it. That's the run. Don't forget to drop a like, subscribe if you're new. Let me know how you've been getting on with it. Let me know how you also beat the mission as well, because I said Red Zone's been giving me trouble. And I'll see you in the next video, guys. And push!